This is the highest tide of the year at the Mangrove Boardwalk outside of Cairns. It's actually amazing. I love this place so much. I think it's probably one of the nicest places to go in Cairns. The tide is only ever this high a couple times a year. It's very hard to convince people to come out here because there are so many insects and it's actually pretty awful, but it's incredibly beautiful and it's very nice and you feel very isolated. Usually it's just mud. So people come out here and fish or clam or something. You can find their thongs and their sunnies just sitting there and they couldn't remember where they were when they came back. I assume they came back. I'm going to try and post one YouTube video a week, maybe like just a little eclectic collection of things that I've done during the week, like a video of me solving an unsolvable mystery around Cairns. I have a mystery that I want to solve and I had to get a monopod to do it. I think, frankly, it's a very important mystery, LA, but it's not the greatest mystery perhaps in the world, but it's just over here. I think about it all the time. I also think about a lot why this little shiatsu massage parlor has a perfect little Japanese chef fisherman riding a koi. It's such perfection. But that's not the mystery. Here it is. Can you see it? Where's the sea gone in Cairns Highway Centre? And why have they spelled highway like that? The other side still has its C right there. Also, I feel like the E is kind of going there, a bit shabby, but that C still gone. Anyway, I have a theory of where it could be, and I want to test it out with my monopod. By the way, the spelling of highway was well settled by the time they built this place, so... That's so disappointing. I definitely thought it was going to be on the roof. Sort of had a whole Columbo moment there. Anyway, not a great start.
Guys, I'm looking at this baby singing my calendar baby stomach. Yeah, my calendar baby. And 9 months he need 1 year old and close very big. You little big too.
Yeah, she's up the chart. She went,
Your wife very tall.
no.
My calendar baby, some, I show you. Let's look at your baby. I just think of my calendar baby.
There's so many cobwebs along here. Or if I've completed some sort of investigation on something. I was walking the other day and I saw this grave. It's so thin. Look how thin it is. How are they making graves so thin from so long ago? I've got a measuring tape. It's so nice. 70. It's 108 years old. Oh my gosh. That grave looks a little thinner. 55. 55. How old is it? 1896. Oh my gosh. That's 100 and oof. And it looks like it survived really well. Maybe they've patched it up a little bit. Oh, they've patched it. It didn't survive. That's a lie. Still, it's holding well together. 55. Is that thinner? No. Not even worth measuring. Ugh. That one is so thin. Perfect. That's 50 millimeters. Hey, 1890. That's 135 years ago. Incredible. But it has broken at some point. So, all right. What's this one? 50. Oh, that's a clean 52. What's that? 1895, 1893. Still, that's it. And this is still intact. This bad boy is intact. That's exciting. All right. I reckon that's probably the best I'm gonna get. 50 millimeters. There's something nice and noble about a good thick tombstone, but that sleekness of a thin tombstone, out of this world. 50 millimeters. Or if I manage to return and try and reconnect people with unclaimed money. I really like doing that. Dino Bergamin lost $2,500 in Australia in 1984, but he actually lost it in 1968. I'm going to try and return it to the family or reconnect this money with the family. Dino was born in Venice and he ended up in Texas. He has a beautiful obituary that says Vino for Dino. It says that he went from one of the islands of Venice to London and he met his wife. He had his children. And then 10 years later, he moved to Texas and that's where he lived the rest of his life. But he actually went to Australia. I love these little moments in really long lives where you can get some clarity or character of a person. I think great examples of that are like wedding descriptions from 1920 in local newspapers. People are just florid in their descriptions of like maybe the most important thing in somebody's life. Or maybe like, for example, is this Maurice Sendak signed copy of Where the Wild Things Are that I was looking online to buy. I saw that like Maurice Sendak had signed it for a young girl called Chelsea. I was like, that's such an interesting name. So I looked her up and I thought it was actually this young girl who passed away when she was 14 from a hunting accident up north somewhere in the United States. But this book was for sale in Nevada. So I was like, oh my gosh, this like book has been traveling and it's kind of cursed. But then I realized it actually says 1982. So Maurice signed it in 1982. And then at the top of the page, it says, for Chelsea, who is 6 years old. So one assumes she's born in 1976. So I found the only Chelsea who was born in 1976 and I messaged her and she didn't get back to me. But like, I would love to know some little bit of my life is still going around out there, still traveling. I just think it's a nice little exciting thing that I would enjoy thoroughly in my day if that would happen to me. That is why I like Dino Bergamin's $2,500 so much. So I think he came and lived here in 1963 to 1968. I think that because on the documents that I held with the National Archives that are not digitized, so I can't see them, it says that he was here from 1963 to 1968. But also in his obituary, and you can look up his marriage in England, it says that he met his partner and married her 3 weeks later in 1969. So it is really funny that they don't mention that he was in Australia in his obituary. It says that he went straight from like Venice to London. It's the only thing that makes me like doubtful that maybe I've got the right Dino. But he is one of two that I can see on the records on the internet. And the other one was born in Canada, lived in Canada, passed away in Canada. One assumes had a very exciting life, but just in one place. So that guy didn't move to Australia in the 1960s. This Dino moved to Australia. He said he was going to live at I'm just going off my memory. It's like Con Street, New Cliffs or something. Either way, whatever it is, it didn't exist. I think a lot of people came to Australia with just like fake addresses that they were going to go to. That's basically the end of the story. I found both his daughters, but I messaged just one of them about the $2,500 that's in Australia. That's his. It would have some interest attached to it, but it would still be like a very negligible amount when you think about how much work it would be to get that money back and then convert it into the US dollars. I think what it's really about is that there's this exciting little tidbit of your father's life that's on the other side of the world and over 50 years old. I think it's nice. I think that's nice. There's old stories, and I'm not sure where it is, but I think somebody was building a boat out here in these mangroves once, but it could have been out further north. Anyway, they passed away, but the shell of the boat was still there, and people would go out and see it. Also, the fun thing that all locals do is they say there's crocodiles in these waters, and there probably is, but it feels kind of weak if I make too much of a thing about it. They do eat people though. I hope you enjoy this video. You can subscribe and follow me.